Well, hi, this is Josh Nelson with Contractor SEO. Your training video and guide have been sent to you via email. And on this video, I really want to share with you how you can triple your sales by getting your internet marketing right. Now, I emphasize the word right because there's a lot of ways to get your internet marketing wrong, or to think that you've got an internet marketing strategy in place, but it doesn't really generate results. Now, I know if you're watching this video, you're doing internet marketing at some level. You probably get calls on a daily basis from people claiming to be internet marketing experts and promising they can get you to the top of the search engines. And it can be very hard to isolate who knows what they're doing versus who's just trying to sell you a bill of goods. And that word right really starts to get fuzzy. And so I want to share with you how you can triple your sales or better by really getting your internet marketing right. I want to do that by sharing an example, a case study of a plumbing company down in the Falls Church, Virginia area called the Plumbing Doctor. And they've been serving their market since about the 1980s and had a relatively strong business in place, and started to notice somewhere around the mid-1980s, around mid-2000, excuse me, that things started to slow down. And what had happened with the Plumbing Doctor was they had built their business on the Yellow Pages. They had a double truck ad in their market. They made sure every time the book came out they had a full page ad, and that was really what drove the growth and the revenue and the lead flow in their business. But again, somewhere around mid-2000, they noticed that the calls started to slow down, the leads coming into their business started to taper off. And that begged the question, where did the customers go? And the owner, Bill Bennett, Dr. Bill as he calls himself, decided he needed to figure that out. And before too long, he realized, kind of like you probably have, that the customers that used to go to the Yellow Pages were not going to the internet. They were going to Google, they were going to Yahoo, they were going to Bing, they were going to Facebook and YouTube and Angie's List. And statistics tell us more than 97% of consumers, when looking for home service businesses, contractors, plumbers, roofers, bathroom remodelers, they're going to the internet. They're going to Google, Yahoo, and Bing. And so for Dr. Bill, this created a challenge. Well, if the customers have now shifted to the internet, and that's where they're looking when they need our services, we need to put an aggressive internet marketing strategy in place. And so he tried a couple of things. The first thing that he did was he connected with the Yellow Pages. Yellow Pages had helped him build his business over the years through his ad in the Yellow Pages. And so when the Yellow Page rep came in and said, listen, we do internet too. We'll set up your website. We'll get you online. We can help you connect with those customers that were looking online. What he found, though, was that even though he was in the Yellow Pages, even though he had a website, it just didn't rank well in search. It didn't drive a lot of calls. And the problem with that strategy was they set up a very basic home, about us, our services, templatized website that really didn't resonate with the customers, didn't make them want to choose them over the competition, and it didn't rank in search. Yeah, it was on YP.com, but it wasn't showing up in Google, in Yahoo, and in Bing. So he quickly realized he needed to do something more. He needed to do something a little bit different. And so shortly thereafter, he connected with a major pay-per-click management company. It was either Reach Local or Yodel or one of these companies, and they came in with a very aggressive pay-per-click marketing strategy. And they said, hey, here's what we're going to do. We're going to set up an AdWords campaign. We're going to set you up on Bing search, and we're going to put an aggressive budget out there between $3,000 and $7,000 per month in pay-per-click, and you're going to be showing up in Google and Yahoo and Bing when people are searching for what you do. And that started to generate some results. I mean, he started getting calls because he was showing up more often, but it seemed like no matter how much he increased the budget, the amount of revenue that came in just barely covered the cost of the investment. So it certainly wasn't replacing the revenue from the heydays in the Yellow Pages, and it wasn't generating enough profitability to really sustain and grow his business. And the problem with this approach was, yes, he was showing up more in search. He was still on a basic templatized website that didn't really give them any reason to choose him over the competition, and it wasn't showing up in the place that most people wind up clicking, which is the organic non-paid listings. It was just getting them up in the paid listings where only about 20 or 30% of the population wind up clicking. And so he needed to still make some changes, and he needed to get the internet marketing right. And so we helped him get the internet marketing right. We went in and we set up the website in a way that differentiated him from the competition. It had authentic imagery, pictures of him, pictures of his staff, video of the owner, Dr. Bill, talking directly to a consumer when they get to his website. All kinds of credibility factors, showcasing his Angie's List awards and the fact that he's involved in BBB, and showcasing his 75 plus positive reviews from across the web. And these things helped with the conversion on the website. It made people want to choose him versus the competition. And then, of course, we optimized the website for search. By that I mean we made sure we had pages for each one of his services that were optimized for his city. We made sure that there was pages for each one of the sub-markets that he operates in. We started blogging and building authority and putting a review automation process in place. And what happened was he quickly moved from not being ranked in the organic listings to having top position when you type in Falls Church Plumber, Falls Church Plumbing, Falls Church Emergency Plumber, Falls Church Drain Cleaning Services, and on and on. And what that meant for him was a pretty noticeable increase in traffic to the website and inbound calls. Just as a very specific example, if we look at back in October of that year, he had 254 visitors to his website. But by the time we got to December, just about 3 months later, he had 733 visitors to the website, mainly as a function of being ranked better for all the different keywords in the organic non-paid listings. Now, what this meant was in October, he got 24 calls via the internet. And of course, we tracked that by putting call tracking mechanisms in place. But by December, he had 88 inbound calls. So from 24 to 88. Now that's a 3-time increase in leads, in sales opportunities, and of course in revenue and profitability for his company. And what it meant for them was Dr. Bill was able to keep his staff in place, that team that he had developed and trained over those years, and he was able to continue to grow and sustain the business. And more importantly for him, his daughter Tracy had come into the business and is going to be that second generation to run the company. He can feel confident that he's got an asset that's sustainable that he's handing down to her for the long term. And that's what it really means to get your internet marketing right. 3 times the sales, 3 times the opportunity, and I'm going to show you some additional case studies where it could even mean more than that for you. So what was the strategy? I'm not going to go into a ton of depth on this video, but we had to update the website not just for SEO, but for conversion, making sure we had pages for each of the services, pages for each one of the cities, and that website resonated with customers and made them want to choose him versus the competition. We had to make sure that the website was mobile ready. More and more consumers are accessing the internet via their mobile phones. We had to make sure that web page pulled up very easily and that a customer was easily able to find the information they needed and press the click to call button. We had to get active in SEO, and so that's really putting strategies in place to build links, to build authority, to get online reviews so that his website was authoritative and could ultimately rank better in organic search. Of course, we got active with Google Maps, claiming and optimizing the map listing, putting a citation development process in place to make sure he's referenced in all the major online directory listings, and put a review automation process in place to get more online reviews. And then, of course, we wanted to make sure he was leveraging social media, Facebook, Twitter, Google+, LinkedIn, and email marketing in a way to really connect with his customers on a deeper level and get more repeat and referral business. I want to share another example with you, and this one is a fence company out of Charlotte, North Carolina. The company's Carolina Deck and Fence, and similar scenario. They were a relatively young company. They went ahead and set up their own website and did some basic web development type stuff. Tried to launch a kind of on-the-side pay-per-click management campaign, and didn't really get much via the internet. They just weren't really ranking well in search. They weren't really resonating with their customers. Well, we were able to come in and implement some of these same strategies, right? Building out the website, making sure that it had all the right on-page factors, And if we type in Carolina Fence Contractor, Carolina Fence Company, Carolina Fence Installation, also Carolina Deck Builder, Deck Installation, they rank very well in the organic non-paid listings in search. And in doing so, the traffic to their website increased pretty noticeably. They went from about 90 visitors to over 400 visitors over a 5-month span. And what that meant was the number of calls jumped from 9 calls back when they were doing it on their own and they didn't have the internet marketing right to 659 calls. So that's a pretty noticeable increase in calls and traffic for their website. And so here's what it meant for them. Here's from Luke Chapman, the owner of Carolina Deck and Fence. He said, "Since connecting with Contractor SEO, our business has been on a steady climb. We went from having a very basic site that generated virtually nothing to having a strong website with great content that ranks on page 1 for just about every keyword that matters to us. Charlotte Fence Company, Charlotte Fence Contractor, Charlotte Fence Repair, Charlotte Deck Builder, and many others. More significantly, the volume of calls we're getting from the internet is off the charts. When we started, we were lucky to get 10 calls a month via the internet. Last month, we had 59, and the number has been increasing on a weekly basis. If you're looking to get your internet marketing right and significantly increase your sales, I highly recommend Contractor SEO." And again, these are just some examples and case studies of what can and will happen when you get your internet marketing right, like I've defined here. So another example is an HVAC company out of the South Florida market, and that's AAA Modern Air. And they've been in business since the 1950s. Really well-established, long history company. Built a very strong business in the Yellow Pages. Noticed that it stopped driving, got active in the internet, noticed that the internet didn't really generate the results that they wanted and that they needed. And so we went in and we implemented some of these same strategies, right? Building out the website, making sure it had personality, having pages for each one of the services, pages for each one of the cities, getting active in link building, citation development, and review automation. And quickly they moved to a strong position for their most important AC installation, AC repair, air conditioning related keywords in their market. And really what I want to show you is the net result and what this means and can mean for your business. And so what happened for them was they went from 72 calls, which is pretty strong, relatively sizable company, to 5 months later, 234 calls. And now they average in the 250, 260 calls every single month directly via the web. And it's really a function of having the internet marketing right. And that's a 3-time increase in sales directly via the internet. Another case study is Shamrock Plumbing. And this is a plumbing company out of Orlando, Florida. And when we started with Mark Norman over at Shamrock Plumbing, he was a one-man operation working from a home office. And he was an aggressive guy. He really wanted to succeed. He wanted to have a successful company. He had built his own website. He'd worked with a couple friends that were internet-related guys. But it seemed like he was always on page 3 or page 2 when he typed in Orlando Plumber, Orlando Plumbing, Orlando Drain Cleaning, and it just wasn't where he needed it to be. And so he was able to connect with us. We put the online marketing strategies in place in a way that now if we type in Orlando Plumber, Orlando Plumbing, he's got the top position. And these are very competitive keywords in a very competitive market. And the volume has been significant. He went from 253 visitors to 839 visitors, which equates from 25 calls to 113 calls. And remember I told you when we started with Mark, he was a one-man operation working from a home office. Well, now he's got a 2,500 square foot office, has 6 full-time employees, and his business is just booming. And it's just a function of getting this internet marketing right. Here's what Mark had to say.
Hi, my name is Mark with Shamrock Plumbing. You know, a lot of companies rely on getting the word out there, making themselves known so that people will call and use their services. Over the last few years, while we've been in business, we've used different companies to get us up on the web and do our web pages and basically get us on the search engines. And I've tried different companies, and some companies have worked and some companies haven't. I found a company right now that are doing basically all the stuff that I used to do and I used to want to get done on my website. A company called Plumbing SEO. Excuse me, Plumbers SEO. Basically, they built my website. They do all my search engine optimization, and they're basically there when I need them. They won't do anything unless they run it past me first. So I kind of have a hand in everything that's going on. When they started, my ranking in different keywords was pretty low, maybe in the sort of 15, 18, which puts me on the second and third page. And they basically said, you know what, let us go on it, let us do the website, we'll create pages and do everything we want to do, and let's see how we get on. Well, in the last 2 months, I've gone from page 3 all the way up to page 1, where I'm up on the map section and everything else. They've helped me with the videos. I will basically make videos and they'll help me post them, and we're getting views in those videos and everything's working. These guys are amazing. Give them a try. The one thing that I thought was great.
So that's just another example and case study of how when you get your internet marketing right, it can have a significant impact on not just being ranked better in search, but really drive more calls, more leads, ultimately more revenues and more profitability in your business.